Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama.
Namaste. My name's Keith. Welcome. This week's Vinyasa practice will be a little bit different. This particular practice is called Surya Snack, and this is something that will show up occasionally. The focus is more around Surya Namaskar, or sun salutations. Two things that make Surya Namaskar perfect. One, it's a complete practice in itself. It's asana, it's pranayama, it's meditative, and it's preparatory. What I mean by that is we can use it in preparation for a particular pose. We can use it to support a specific theme, or we can use it when we're working with a focus around certain kinds of poses so that the body is ready to really dive deep into those poses when we get to that particular part of the practice. So these Surya snacks that will show up will be just that. It'll be a practice of Surya Namaskar that prepares us for something. Today in particular, it's going to prepare us for some heart opening and back bending. Something I'll say is that there has been a debate about sun salutations in Vinyasa classes, whether or not we even need to have them. And I think, sure, if you're practicing a sun salutation that seems removed from the entire experience of the Vinyasa practice, where it's simply an established set of asanas happening in succession that don't relate to the rest of the practice, it seems unnecessary. But when we use Surya Namaskar to prepare for what's happening, when it's one bead on the long mala that we call a Vinyasa practice, then it plays a really important role. And it's in that way that I want to share sun salutations in these Surya snacks. In order to practice Surya Namaskar, we need to look at the component pieces first. Surya Namaskar begins with Tadasana. The breath for Tadasana is an exhale. Move your shoulders down away from your ears. Balance your weight across your feet. Stand tall without becoming rigid. Urdhva Hastasana comes on the next breath in. When you raise your arms, you might touch your palms together. Your arms might go forward to come up. They might move out to your sides to come up. Today, in this particular Surya Namaskar, you'll hook your thumbs together. Uttanasana comes next with an exhale, hinging at your hips, bowing over and touching the ground. You should always feel free to bend your knees, to soften your hamstrings, make room where you need it. Ashvasalanchasana, or lunge, comes next as you breathe in. Often that means your back knee is lifted. In today's practice, your back knee will be down. Follow this with downward facing dog as you exhale. And just like your forward bend, give yourself permission to soften your knees, to ease your stance as you need so that you can find as much length as possible through your spine. Let your head have its natural weight and its natural heaviness. Inhale out long to plank next. This will change along the way, but that will be where we start. With your exhale, drop your knees, your chest, and your chin, rather than lowering down to the floor or into Chaturanga Dandasana. When you breathe in, we'll start with Cobra, and eventually that might grow into more of an upward facing dog. From there, everything will retrace its steps. Returning to downward facing dog with an exhale. Lunging forward with your breath in, Ashvasalanchasana. Stepping into yourself to fold over, Uttanasana. Inhaling up to stand with a high prayer. Pausing at your heart before releasing your arms down by your sides in Tadasana. And those are the component pieces of Surya Namaskar. When we move today, We're always going to be looking ahead to the possibility of having more heart opening or back bending space as we get into that part of the practice. Here we go. Begin here in Tadasana. Let your arms pour out of your shoulders and let your stance feel natural. Inhale your thumbs together and hook and reach. Bring your arms up alongside your ears. Open up your chest. And then when you exhale, fold over. Touch the ground. Inhale your right leg back and drop your right knee. Give some extra lift to your chest here. Exhale and send your hips up. Step backward. Downward dog. Inhale out long to plank, but keep your heels strong. Exhale your knees, your chest, and your chin down to your mat. Open up for Cobra, and you can keep your back toes curled. Travel back and send your hips up, Downward Dog. Step your right foot forward with your inhale and let your back knee touch the mat. Lift your gaze as you finish your breath. Exhale your feet together and fold into yourself. Arms to the sky, Urdhva Hasta. Pause a prayer at your heart and release your arms. Hook your thumbs together, same amount of space on your chest, so you just feel a little bit more spread. Exhale and fold over yourself, Uttanasana. Inhale your left leg to the back, open up your chest. Breathe out, Downward Dog. Breathe into plank pose, send your gaze forward as you go. Exhale your knees, your chest, and your chin to the floor. Slither forward, little cobra. Remember your toes stay curled. Press through your hands and your feet, send your hips up, Downward Dog. Inhale your left foot up to the front. Drop your back knee, finish the breath in. Feet together, fold into yourself, bow down. High prayer, Urdhva Hasta. Namaste into Tadasana. It can stay that way. Hook your thumbs together with your breath in. Open your chest, lift your gaze some, tilt more space into your spine. Hinge and fold over, empty out. Inhale your right leg back, drop your knee, and add your arms up alongside your head for Anjaneyasana. Hands down as you step backward, downward facing dog. Inhale out long to plank pose. But this time only your chest and your chin come down to the ground. It can be cobra or upward facing dog over your toes. Back over your toes for downward dog. Move your right foot forward with your back knee down. Breathing in, your arms come up. Hands to the ground as you breathe out to step into yourself. Uttanasana, fold in. A high prayer up to the sky. Pause. Exhale in Tadasana. Hook your thumbs, breathe in. A little more room from your chest to your hips. Fold over, empty out. Uttanasana. Inhale your left leg back, drop your knee, arms up, Anjaneyasana. Drop your hands and step back with your right foot, downward facing dog. Move out long first to plank. Hug your elbows in, lower your chest and your chin. Cobra or up dog. Back over your toes, downward dog. Move your left foot to the front, drop your back knee. Arms up as you finish your inhale. Step it together, fold over, Uttanasana, bow into yourself. A high prayer up. Pause, exhale Tadasana. Hook your thumbs, breathe in, tilt a little bit more space. Fold over, empty out. Take your right leg back, drop your knee, Anjaneyasana. Downward dog as you breathe out. Roll right into up dog, or you can do what you've done before. Over your toes, ripple. Back to downward dog. Lunge your right foot up. Drop your knee, arms up. When you step together, clasp your hands behind your back. Bow into yourself. Bend your knees on the way up for Utkatasana. Release, Tadasana. Hook your thumbs. Up you go, more space. Folding over. Inhale your left leg back, arms up, Anjaneyasana. Back to downward dog. You can roll through plank or ripple right into upward facing dog over your toes. Back to down dog. Inhale your left foot forward to drop your knee, arms up, Anjaneyasana. Step together, fold over, interlace and bow. Bend your knees, arms up. You can press your palms, not too deep in your knees. Lift your gaze. Pause. Tadasana. Utkatasana, bend your knees. Let it feel like knees, chest, and chin. Fold over. Uttanasana. Utkatasana. Tadasana. Utkatasana, inhale. Feel the muscles on the back of your body coming to life. Uttanasana, release. Utkatasana, breathe in. Tadasana, breathe out. One more time. Utkatasana. Uttanasana. Utkatasana, zigzag. Tadasana. And then pause here to notice the difference between this Tadasana and the first Tadasana. And then make your way down onto your back. Start with your soles down and graze the back of your heels just to make sure that you're not too far away or too close with your stance. Set up your feet so they're about hip distance apart. When you breathe in, lift your hips. Let your shoulders take more weight. There's action in your bum, strength in your legs. But try not to get so much action going that you turn your toes out. Make sure your feet stay parallel. And then at the apex of your lift, soften your bum. And see if you can still feel the space on the front side of your legs. Move your shoulders closer and interlace your hands. Make it about your chest being prominent now. Press through your arms and see if you can get more space from your hips to your chest without too much butt squeezing. And then release your grip and lower down. Take a moment here. And then do it again. You can move your feet a little bit forward this time so that your heels are just out of reach. Do the same amount of lift so you can press down, take the weight into your shoulders. Interlace your hands so you narrow your shoulders. You can stay here, or when you separate your hands, take one hand to your hip, the other hand to your hip. Walk across the pelvis so you get closer with your thumbs. Drop more weight to your shoulders so your bridge just got bigger. Make sure that here you don't feel any extra squeezing happening in your bum. Let your hands support the space. And then one hand at a time can release. Ease on down. Sink into the ground for a moment. And then bring your feet back to that first starting place. Roll your shoulder blades back, and you can do what you've done already, or begin to place your hands on the floor next to your head. Narrow your elbows, press through your thumbs. Start with your hips coming up like your first bridge. Wait for your next breath in, and then press through your hands. Lengthen your arms. Unhinge your jaw. And then chin to your chest. Ease down. Roll your wrists around. Windshield wiper your knees. Come on. Draw your legs in just close enough to rock up. Move your legs over to the side. And come to all fours. Extend your left leg out behind you, and then draw your right leg forward on your way into pigeon. Feel free to pad your right hip or prop up as you need. Deepen through your right hip crease as you settle in. And then move down to your elbows. Breathe into your right hip across the right glutes. You can stay here or bow down a little bit deeper. Move across your pelvis and see if there's any more room to drop. Just make sure you're not leaning to one side or the other. Inhale your way up and drop some weight to your right hip. So you can pull your left leg forward. Come to the top of your left foot. You can adjust anywhere outside your left thigh. And it might be that your right foot stays inside your left leg this way. You can deepen your right hip back under you. You can also decide if you want your right foot to come up into a half lotus. You might need to do one more moving under of your pubis to your tail before you begin the twist. Your left hand across. You can tense your right fingers behind you or wrap your right arm all the way around and take hold of your own foot. Coming into Bharadvajasana. Once you've got your hands where you want them, gaze back over your left shoulder. Puff up into your chest. Couple that with the rotation. And then slowly undo what you've done. If you've got a lotus, let it go. Bring your left leg around. Take your right leg out to the back. Set up a pigeon here. deepening through your left hip, releasing your back toes. Remembering you can prop as you like, and then down to your elbows. You can stay on your elbows or come down a little bit deeper. Sink your whole pelvis. Imagine that your pelvis and your shoulders are about the same height from the ground. Inhale your way up and let some weight drop over to your left hip. Draw your right knee forward out to the right side, and you're on the top of your right foot. You can tuck under the skin of your right thigh, so there's more room for your knee. And then you decide if your left foot stays with your thigh, or if you'd like to bring your left foot up, right up into the crease at your right hip, toward a half lotus, you can. Tuck under some with your pubic bone so that the weight can drop completely into your left thigh, your whole left sitting bone down your left thigh. So it doesn't feel like your left knee, especially in a lotus, is ever compromised. Start to twist to the left. You can always wrap around or tense your fingers behind you. Gaze over to your right. Open up some more chest space. Feel the remnant of the back bend here. You can ratchet up behind your heart. And then slowly release. Stretch your legs out long in front of you. Feel free to have some bend in your knees. Let your feet flex to get started, but then give some point to your ankle. Slide your hands down to your outer heel or around your big toes. You can always have your hands on the floor if that's a better place. Open up your chest so there's that remnant of the back bend here. Fold with that quality. And then eventually you might release your head. Keep moving your shoulders away from your ears. Breathe out completely. And then ease your way up to sit. Lie down to your back. Start with your knees bent. Stretch your legs up to the ceiling. And just give them some shakes. Let your low back drop into the ground. Bend your knees. Stretch out your legs. Let yourself drop. Turn your palms open. Breathe lightly here. Breathe simply here. Release your jaw, release your face. Release any holding. into your deepest depth, your heaviest heavy. Fall into an eternal pause. And then take a deep breath out of your mouth. Move your limbs and bend your knees. Draw your thighs in so you can rock up to sit. Find a seat that works. Bring your hands together. We are one life, we are one light, and we are one love. I bow with gratitude to the divine light in you that is the divine light in me. Peace be with you. Thanks for snacking with me. You can let me know how that felt. Leave me a comment. I'll get back to you. See what this kind of shorter practice, more focused practice, different kind of practice feels like in your body. I'll see you next time.